Aztecs had space wizards. The British had Stonehenge. We have Oliver Brackenbury. Ladies and gentlemen, Oliver Brackenbury.
Hey there. So, lots has been going on, but you don't see that when you're just looking at this, assuming you're even looking at it. I mean, there hasn't been anything new up there in a while, so why would you? But the fact of the matter is that the wheels have been turning, the cogs have also been turning, and I've been working towards getting some new stuff up. It's just been one of those things where, like, I had a cameraman, but then I didn't have an editor. And just as I got an editor, I kind of lost my cameraman, and I didn't own really any of my own equipment, but luckily that has started to change. I think I finally found a camera that's not bad, although I am still learning things, like how apparently shooting at night using a night light feature, or we're going to call it low light, means that you'll get a very nice picture of the lady on the wall who doesn't move. But picture me, well, look at my gums flap. They're not really flapping in sync with what I'm saying. But wah, enough complaining. The fact of the matter is, now that I've got a little more control over the production method, I don't want to say episodes will come out every single day or anything, but they should come out a little more reliably, and maybe even a little closer to my original directorial vision. Now, of course, the first thing to mention is, of course, as you can tell, the quality won't be as high in terms of production values as the first few episodes. However, to paraphrase a favorite webcomic quote of mine, I'm not Francis Ford Coppola. Handful of minutes isn't The Godfather. So, okay, that's enough for now. You get the idea. Here's the update. Things go on the way. Not going to name a specific date because, of course, if I do, shit won't happen until the day after. But stuff is on the way, hopefully amusing, hopefully you like it, whatever, la-di-da. So, this is already still feeling a little too much like a video blog, despite my attempt to try and shoot it in locations other than my bedroom. So, I'm going to try and give a little bit of entertainment in the form of my reading an incredible excerpt from an incredible piece of writing by an incredible author, Hunter S. Thompson. The article comes from a book called Songs of the Doomed, The Gonzo Papers, Volume 3, More Notes on the Death of the American Dream. The Silk Road, Fast Boats on the Ocean at Night, Fishhead Boys. We were calling a cab in the Key West airport when I saw these two Fishhead Boys grab my bags off the carousel. The skinny one was halfway to the parking lot with the big red, white, and blue sea bag full of diving gear before I realized what was happening. No, I thought. No, this can't be true. Not right here in front of my eyes, in the blue lit glare of the breezeway in this friendly little airport, with palm trees all around and Mother Ocean rolling up on the beach just a few hundred yards to the south. It must be a setup, I thought. Some narc in the pay of the White House. That evil bastard Hamilton has been trying to bust me ever since I set him on fire in Orlando. And this was, after all, another election year. In the good old days, I might have thought it was Gordon Liddy just running one of his capers, but Gordon doesn't work for the White House anymore, and Hamilton has other problems, like trying to re-elect what Dick Goodwin calls the only true Republican president since Herbert Hoover on the Democratic ticket. So I was puzzled. Election years tend to create their own priorities, for the White House and even the DEA, and on a need-to-be-busted basis, I figured my name was not even on the list for 1980. I was not even covering the campaign. I still had the phone in my hand when I saw the fat one. He came shuffling out of the darkness where he'd obviously been standing lookout for his buddy. He glanced around to see that nobody was watching, then reached down and picked up my triple-locked leather satchel. Whoops, I thought. Let's have a word with these boys. They were locals. Punks, maybe. 19, 20 years old? And they did it so casually that I knew that they had been here before. Semi-pro luggage thieves, the lowest and cruelest kind of scum. I felt the foam pulling out of the wall as I suddenly moved toward the action. Cut the thumbs off these vultures, I thought. Carve on them. Then I remembered that my bone knife was in the red, white, and blue diving bag. All I had for leverage was this baby blue telephone receiver that I had just ripped off the wall by the traveler's aid counter. It was trailing about 6 feet of coiled blue rubber wire as I ran. God damn, you rotten bastards! I'll kill you, goddamn brainless! This savage screaming confused me for a moment. Then I realized it was me. Was I moving faster than my own sounds? Maybe not, but pure rage is a serious fuel, and now I was moving at least like Dick Butkus on speed towards this poor doomed screwhead who had already staggered and fallen to one knee under the weight of my leather satchel. I was still about 100 feet away when he heard my screams and saw me coming. I knew I had the angle on him, even before he staggered. He was out in the open now, and his face was stupid with terror. "Eat shit and die!" It was a thundering, brutal scream, and for a moment I thought it was me again, still moving faster than the sound. But this time, the scream was really behind me. It was Skinner. He'd been raving, drooling, drunk, all the way from Aruba, but the sudden screech of battle had jerked him awake from his stupor, and now he was right behind me, screaming as he ran. I pointed left toward the parking lot, had the skinny geek with my diving bag. I smelled the whiskey pumping up from Skinner's lungs as he passed me and angled left to where I'd pointed. It was not quite an hour after sunset. We had come in on the last flight, and then lingered for a while in the pilot's lounge, so now there was nobody else in that end of the airport. A magic moment in the tropics, just the four of us, like the beasts gone into a frenzy, back to the fang and the claw, and for just a few seconds, the only other sound in the empty white corridor where we were closing with terrible speed and craziness on these two fish-head boys was the high-speed, rubbery slap of Skinner's new topsiders on the tile as we bore down on them. Wild shouts and the squeal of new rubber. A punk's nightmare, like getting sucked into the blades of a jet engine for no good reason at all. Right. Just another late gig at the airport. Just you and Bubba, like always, maybe 2 or 3 times a week. Just hang around in the baggage area till something worth stealing shows up there late on the carousel. And then, with perfect dumb style and timing, you seize the bags you've been watching. And... Ye fucking gods! 2 drunken screaming brutes coming wild out of nowhere and moving with awesome speed. Hey, Bubba, what's all that screaming? I thought there was no Oh, God, no! Run, Bubba! Run! Killer drunks! They jumped us like mad dogs. At first I saw only one of them. He had big brown eyes and no hair. I was scared, man. I mean, the way he was running and screaming just scared the shit out of me. It was crazy. Bubba never had a chance. These were serious killer drunks, man. I mean, they were out of their fucking minds. The last thing I remember is when Bubba started to scream and then all of a sudden I didn't hear anything. And that's when the other one hit me. It almost broke my back, and all I remember after that is pain all over my head and somebody yelling, "Eat shit and die!" They were serious, man. They were trying to kill us. They were crazy. Well, maybe so. But we were there to cover the boat races, not to act crazy. And certainly not to kill fish-head boys. Although Skinner was so crazed on whiskey that for a while I thought he really was going to kill that skinny bleeder he ran down out there in the parking lot. "You screwhead bastard!" he was yelling. Then I heard the awful smack of bone against bone. The sound drove me wild. Somewhere in that madness I recall a flash of remorse, but it had to be very brief. My last coherent thought before we made physical contact with these people was, why are we doing this? There was not much time to think. All of a sudden the whole airport came alive with the sounds of violence. A pitiful cry drifted in from the palm-shrouded darkness of the parking lot as Skinner made his hit. And then I crashed into the fat boy at top speed, leg-whipping him in the groin as we collided and then tumbled wildly across the tile floor and into the wall of the Avis booth. I grabbed him by the hair and bit deeply into the flesh on the side of his neck. The sudden taste of hot blood caused me to bite him twice again before he went stiff and started making sounds like a chicken. I got a grip on his hair and dragged him out to the parking lot, where I heard Skinner still whipping on the other one. "Let's tie these bastards to a tree and play hurricane," I said. He was still kicking the body of the unconscious thief, but he heard what I said and smiled. So we lashed these 2 fish-head boys to a palm tree with some yellow nylon cord from my diving bag. Then we beat them with tree limbs for 20 or 30 minutes. Finally, when we were too exhausted to whip on them anymore, I wanted to cut off their thumbs with a bone knife, but Skinner said it would be wrong. Later, in my penthouse suite at the pier house, I felt vaguely unsatisfied. "We don't need it," Skinner insisted. "The joke's over when you start mutilating people, hacking off thumbs and weird shit like that. We're not in Damascus, Doc. Get a grip on yourself." I shrugged. Why not? Why push it? Skinner was drinking heavily now, but his mind seemed clear. "There could be a few questions when they find those boys tied up to that tree in the morning," he said. "Never mind that," I told him. "We have work to do in the morning. We have our own questions to ask." He stared into his drink for a long moment. "Ah, yes," he said finally. "The race."